Conversations with Candy. We are getting ready to paint our front door, which is kind of like our first biggest home project that we have done to date. I mean, we've mown the lawn and all that, but you know, I don't consider that like a project per se, just more like maintenance. Anyway, so we're going to paint our front door, and I plan on showing you the tools that we're going to be using to do that, and how we're going to do it. We kind of researched a little bit on Google. We looked at Pinterest. We kind of like looked around to kind of see how do people paint their front doors, what do they do, and we kind of just picked something that sounded like fairly easy and something that we thought would work for us. So if you don't really like the way that we choose to do it, you can look up and research different ways to do it. There's lots of ways to do it. There's no right way, there's no wrong way per se. This is just the way that we've researched and found comfortable to, you know, do it for us. So anyway, on with the show. We will be painting our house numbers, but I will not be showing the house numbers because I don't want anyone to know where we live. So anyway, we have a paintbrush here. We kind of got a smaller one. They have different sizes, but we felt this one would work best for us since all we're doing is painting a door and some house numbers. We didn't feel like we needed a roller, although a lot of sites suggested using a roller. You can use a paintbrush, you can use a thicker paintbrush, but because we have like a lot of detailed work, we figured this, you know, would apply it fairly quickly, but also be able to get into the corners and the detailed areas, which I will show you in a little bit. As you can see, it's kind of angled, and you just dip the brush into the colored portion, and yeah. One thing I did read about, they said that the better the brush, the better the finish of paint. So if you don't want like a ton of brush strokes or like, you know, some of the fibers coming off on the door in your paint, you might want to splurge on a fairly decent paintbrush. It's something you can reuse again and again for different house projects, so I think we paid about $7 for this one, which isn't too bad. So anyway, and then this is the Valspar paint, and I'll show you when it's open. You can kind of see the color right there. And all we did is we went to Lowe's, and they have tons of different color options. You can just take, you know, some paint chip samples, take them home with you, you know, put them on whatever space you're wanting to paint. In our case, it was an outdoor door, so we needed to get something that was an exterior paint. So we just picked the color we wanted and told them we wanted an exterior paint. And then they also have on here, I don't know if you can see from the writing or not, but yeah, it's going to be too tiny. It just tells you how much, the name of it, and then you get to pick the finish. We picked a satin finish on ours. You could pick like a glossy. I read that glossy is the easiest one to clean. Like if you want to wash your door and stuff, glossy was the easiest. Matte was the hardest to clean. We kind of went in between. I didn't necessarily want like a really shiny finish, but I did want it to be easier to clean, so we kind of went for a satin finish for us. And we got this mixed with primer. So we'll show you our door in just a minute, but it's a brown color, and so we asked them if we needed to paint it with primer. They just said if you mix it in with the color and paint it because it's exterior paint, that's all you need to do. You don't need to have like a separate primer or anything like that, at least for our door. You might want to do your research because your door might be different than our door or might be in worse condition than our door. We're just changing the paint not because it so much needs it to be changed, but because I didn't really care for the color, to be honest. It's something I felt like I wanted to change, and, you know, a door says so much about a home and who lives inside. So anyway, so we chose Gentle Wave. It's a Valspar exterior paint. It's kind of like a warm blue color because the outside of our house is kind of like brown and cream colored. As you can see, Scott here is prepping. I've been doing prepping too, but I had to stop so I could film. I don't know if you can tell from here. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Okay, that's kind of a better shot right here. So you can kind of see why I got a small angled brush. We have a lot of triangles and a lot of corners, and we want to be able to get in there really, really well to make sure we paint everything. And as you can see, our front door is a lovely chocolate brown. One thing we did notice in research when looking at doors was that if you have exposed wood, like if your paint on your door jambs, like over here, is chipping, that you will need to not sand it down, and you will need to use like another primer, like a latex primer on it before you use your paint, even if your paint has primer in it, because any kind of exposed wood will suck in the primer, I guess, and you really need the primer to not be sucked into the wood. So you'll have to have like the primer to kind of go between the paint and primer. I don't know. That's what I read. Okay. So anyway, since our door doesn't need it, we're just going to be taking off the door locks and the door handles. And we kind of already prepped on the bottom. You can kind of see where we covered the weather stripping. And we will be putting our trash bags, which are right here. We'll be taping those down, and so we can paint our door. Now, every paint might be a little bit different. Our paint on the canister just said that we needed to, that it'd be dry to the touch in an hour, and in about 4 hours it could be like moved. So we're painting it now. It's about 5 o'clock, but something to be aware of, and something that we're aware of. We're kind of painting later in the evening, and even though the sun is setting on it, it'll help to dry it, but at the same time, you don't want it to be too hot. Sorry, that got a little close, didn't it? Close and personal. All right, anyway, so you basically don't want to have it like in direct sun, like if it's like in the middle of the day, if it's really, really hot, because it will cause your paint to blister, and you really don't want that. You don't want it to be like the temperature needs to be pretty like, you know, run-of-the-mill. Not really cold, so don't paint in the winter unless you have, I guess they do sell like specialized winter paint, which I never knew you couldn't paint in the cold, but apparently you can't, so not without issues anyway. So, and then if it gets more than 90 degrees, like if it's really, really hot, or like your door has like direct sunlight while you're painting it, so just things to be aware of and to maybe like research and look at depending on your individual situation. I feel like a door is such an easy thing to change, and I don't know, I feel like it can change like the whole look of a house, and gosh, I hope it turns out really well. I think it will, because like our brick exterior is kind of like a brown with cream color, and so I feel like the blue is just really going to complement it well and make it pop, because blue and brown would really go well together. We're debating whether or not to paint the, I guess the storm door, I think that's what they're called, storm door. It's not really a screen door, but the storm door, possibly paint that blue, but I kind of just want to replace it with an all-glass one just because it looks so much nicer, and you'd be able to see the whole door and all the details on the door, because our door has a lot of character. All the beautiful glass and like the crosswood is just kind of farmish and countryish, which I really like. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at right now. Our house numbers, we will have to sand. That was something that they said in the videos, like if you have exposed wood, you need to sand it down. You need to, like, you know, scrape off all the paint and sand it. It has a really thin layer of paint. Maybe I can show you part of it just so you can kind of get an idea. Hopefully you can't tell what number that is. Anyway, you can kind of see how it's got a very thin layer of paint. And so it'll easily be able to be sanded off. We'll be able to sand that down, and then we'll probably just put 2 coats on it instead of using primer, because I'm not going to buy a huge thing of primer for 3 numbers or 4 numbers or whatever, you know. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So when we get started painting, I will, I guess when Scott starts painting, or I paint, probably when he paints, because obviously that would be really hard to film and paint without getting it like everywhere. So anyway, wish us luck on our painting journey, and we'll catch up with you in a few. Hi everybody. Okay, so the paint, or the, can't talk. Okay, the painter's tape is on. We put our trash bags down, and we just put painter's tape up in the corners of the windows with that, so we can get in there finally. We just still have to take the hardware off. I'm just waiting for Scott, my husband, to get back from the store so that we can sand down the numbers and start painting. So we're super excited. I'm going to stick that down real good. Yeah, I got to make sure everything's stuck down really, really, really good, because you don't want any paint bleeding through onto your glass, because then you're going to be there forever with an X-Acto knife. Alrighty guys, it's almost do or die time. I hope everybody can see my face, because the lighting is really like wonky right now. The sun is setting, and it's like 8:30, and I just turn on light, but you know how it is sometimes with lighting, right? Alrighty, I'll catch you in a few. Hey everyone, okay, so we're painting now. Quite a bit later than we intended, but taping off and getting sandpaper and stuff that we needed last minute is taking forever. Anyway, so that's kind of what we got done so far. I don't know if you can really tell on this lighting. Lighting's not super good, but there's the chocolate brown side and there's kind of the blue. My shoulders got tired, so Scott's taken over here. It's really hard to hold up a paintbrush when you're really, really short, because you're trying to reach and stretch. So maybe getting a roller would be better if you have, like, you know, maybe a big flat door. It would probably go faster and be a lot less painful and maybe a little bit more even. Anyway, so that's what we've got done so far. I guess I'll show you guys the, finished paint once we finish painting here, and, hopefully it'll look pretty good. It's hard to tell right now. Anyway, talk to you in a minute. Good morning, everybody. We let our door dry last night, or finished painting around, what time? 10 o'clock at night, and so we let it dry, and I figured I'd just show it to you in the morning light, and you could actually see the color a little bit better, since the lighting was really not good last night. So yeah, there's our finished door. We still have to take off the painter's tape, but I don't know if I want to do it just yet. I know the back of the thing said it'd be dry within 4 hours, but, I'm one of those girls who, fudges her nails all the time because I can't wait. I'm too impatient. I'm like, oh, it's probably dry enough. And then I go do something and I'm like, dang it, I have to redo that nail because I fudged it up. So I think I would rather just wait and, see. We'll give it a few hours and, yeah. Anyway, that's us painting our door, and if you have any questions or anything like that, just let me know. I will be probably making a wreath for my door sometime in the near future. I got some stuff from Dollar Tree, and I don't know when I'll actually do it, but if you want to, I can film me making the wreath or trying to make the wreath, and we'll see how it looks. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.